The following footage you see is actually a demonstration from PAX East followed by other trailers that has been released throughout 2018. This game is still within the development stage, and according to what it says, it should be released sometime in 2018. When that is, even I don't know. And for those that are within the development team, if you wanted to pay for the service, give me a free copy of the game, or hell, collector's edition. That'd be nice. Okay, let's just get into the video, shall we? Hey folks, BlackCross here, and welcome to a brief discussion video where I'm basically going to be talking about a game that I have talked about in multitudes of times, and that is of BioMutant. BioMutant is basically a game that was developed by THQ Nordic. I think I pronounced that right. I hope I did, because I hate to be the one who got it wrong. But the development team, known as Experiment 101, has been working on BioMutant for the past year now, that we have known so far. As to how long it's been in development, I'm not quite sure, but the point is that it is basically an action role-playing RPG game with open world concept. And while all that is simply in its name and everything like that, there is actually more to this game than what seems to be on screen right now. In later trailers, we have seen a lot of different other updates that the game features to have. And in terms of customizations as well as other features, this game promises to be one of the greater titles of 2018, one that I personally am excited for. So today I figure I'd give you a brief video of what BioMutant is and what I thought about it and why I'm so excited about it too. So let's first talk about the story. In some games, the story tends to either be complicated or simplistic, and sometimes in between. BioMutant is basically the simple story plot, where basically you play as a lone creature within the world itself that is slowly dying because the tree of life is bleeding death throughout the world. And in the realm of apocalypse flooding around, you choose either to save the world or basically to be the destroyer of it all as well. It's an interesting concept, but one that ultimately is up to you. The creation of being able to create your character, as well as the ability to choose how the world's face within your hand, is an interesting concept, but one that's been done multitude of times, but not of this scale, where basically everything is being changed by mutations, followed by the fact that there are creatures out there that are basically fighting against each other for control over the world, or what was left of it, should I say. And while in terms of story there's not much to see, the gameplay is where it's at. Gameplay, this is where I got myself hooked at to begin with. I actually started watching this 25-minute trailer video talking about the game itself. Well, they didn't really talk about it, they more or less showed the gameplay itself. And from what I saw, my mind, followed by my very gamer instinct, all of a sudden triggered because the gameplay reminded me so much of what Kingdom Hearts 1 is. Now, a lot of people know me by now by basically me saying the phrase that I love Kingdom Hearts 1. Kingdom Hearts 2, yeah, it's pretty good on its own, but it's nothing compared to how the first one is, where it's balanced out in terms of ground combat and everything it fits perfectly in this even flow that Kingdom Hearts has for itself. BioMutant basically has that feel as well, where it keeps itself grounded, but at the same time allows itself to give multitudes of different arsenals and different ideals within the gameplay itself. And the cool thing is, customizing your little creature goes beyond just by creating the skin itself. In the creation part of BioMutant, you get to choose how to create your creature, whether he's tall, whether he's short, male, female, fur type, followed by fur density and everything. I mean, they put a lot of detail into this game, and in the later process of the development, they actually talked about how depending on how you build your character depends on its stat, which makes it interesting because that makes the game even more replayability, because every single time you start a new one, you're going to create a new creature, and that creature is going to be vastly different than the last that you had beforehand. With its fast weapons and fast armor that you get to use throughout the game, this gives the game a lot more color than meets the eye. In fact, that's something interesting to talk about. Technically, this is supposed to be a post-apocalyptic RPG, and for it being a post-apocalyptic game, it looks very much alive. Like, way beyond its normal standards. But then again, that's only because this is supposedly a planet devoid of human life, but rather more or less given life of these creatures. And it kind of gives a sense of like, it's natural, meaning that the tree of life itself is just now dying, and the poison that it gives out into the world is being affected as we speak. And so to see all of this being put into perspective is an interesting concept. And that I just love this little guy. Holy shit, he looks so freaking amazing. Oh my gosh, you look so cute! I absolutely adore this game. It has kept my attention for the past year now. I kid you not, it's almost been a year since I first saw this. I mean, I watched E3, and while it didn't really impress me, this particular game did. In fact, while there was a lot of games out there that has my attention, there were some that fell off the rail. For example, God of War, Extension, and then of course there's still Blood Rain Ritual of the Night, which we don't even know when that's supposed to even come out. They're saying it's supposed to be sometime this year, but who knows really. BioMutant, so far, with the exception of Kingdom Hearts 3 of course, has kept my attention for the past year, and every single time I see a new progression of the trailer, which isn't really that many, I'm often surprised as to how well it keeps me interested. And that's the word to say, interested. It's not getting me hyped up for the game, and it's not really pulling me into an, oh my gosh, I have to have this now, but the game is so vastly interesting and full of detail that honestly it's hard to keep your eye away from it. And the intention itself is already slowly growing as it is. In fact, at first I thought to myself, no one really talks about this game, until I actually start looking up details about BioMutant. And a lot of people already know about it. It's not being talked about within the heavy media itself. Hell, very few people are actually talking about this game because, I don't know why. Why are you not talking about this game? This looks freaking fantastic. What is wrong with you people? If you have the time, I encourage you to actually look into the game itself. In fact, allow me to give you a link within the description box below of the 25-minute video of BioMutant's gameplay from PAX 2017. If you're not convinced by that particular gameplay, then there is something wrong with you.
Actually, not something wrong with you, it's just, obviously, you don't have an interest in action RPGs.
As you guys know, I've always wanted a game that felt like Kingdom Hearts to me. And for the longest time, I've had a hard time finding that game that felt like it. Yes, there was a lot of good games that came out throughout the years that I liked it, but none that had that same scality of Kingdom Hearts. BioMutant promises to feel that way from what I see. And even though technically Experiment 101 had no intention of it, in fact I guarantee you they probably hadn't played Kingdom Hearts 1, but if I had to take a wild guess, I say they were trying to grab the attention of the audience just by the gameplay alone, because the story isn't really brought within the characters themselves. The story is brought through a narrative progression. The creatures themselves speak different languages, and the narrator speaks for that creature itself. Everything is actually set with what you see, and the development itself is steadily progression as we speak. I'm hoping that by E3 this year, we'll actually get a little bit more detail as to when the game comes out. And for those that are wondering, yes, it seems like they are pushing forward with this game, because on Amazon.com there is actually a collector's edition that you can get easily for 120 bucks for both the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I don't know about the PC. As far as I know, they don't really have a collector's edition for PC. Actually, they do have it for PC. Never mind. I'm sorry. False alarm! I hope this video convinces you of how BioMutant looks, and hopefully it might keep you interested just as much as I have. If you missed out on this particular game, I hope you look it up on the trailer that I left in the description box below, and if that convinces you, I hope you look into more detail for yourself, because honestly, it just looks that interesting. Seriously, if you plan on making a drinking game where I say interesting, don't. You're gonna regret it. You're just gonna regret it. But I hope this video keeps you in hype for this game, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, this is BlackCross signing off. Take care, guys.